For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and today I'm here with my unboxing and setup of the Spirit Halloween 2021, Mr. Howle. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably aware that the Spirit Halloween flagship store opened 2 days ago, July 31st, 2021, for the 2021 season. 2 days ago, as of the day I'm filming this, right now, August 2nd. Now, if you met me in the store or you were talking to me beforehand, you probably know that walking into flagship, I was really hoping to pick up my favorite animatronic of the season, by far my favorite, and that is Mr. Howle. Well, if you read the description and title of the video, and if you're seeing the box right here, you know that I ended up getting him, and I have a whole story behind it. So, flagship only had one in stock. That is right, one to sell and one on display. I was number 12 in line, and I ran into the store and was lucky enough to buy the only one flagship had. Now, the other very, very cool thing about it is that he is not shipping out for another month, which means right now I am literally the only person who has Mr. Howle on hand, which means no one has seen him before in person at their own house. No one owns him except for me, so I am very, very excited to unbox this guy. As you can see, his box is very, very big, much bigger than I thought it was. As you can see, it's around Crouchy size. He's very, very big in person from what I saw in the flagship store, and he weighs about 40 pounds. And I'm very, very excited to unbox him and see him in person. And I hope to fit him in my room if he fits, but I don't really know. I'm going to have to see how big he is in person. So without further ado, let's get to the setup. So before I start the setup, I just wanted to point something out. Mr. Howle does feature the 2021 set of instructions. I would expect this because he is a new 2021 animatronic, but as you can see, it's got the box art featured at the top, which is what they started doing this year. It has his name, you can kind of see him, and then they also separated the instructions by frame, figure, and dressing, so you can see all the different parts, and then the actual instructions have all like the colored pictures and everything, which are really nice, and they're thick paper as well, so they're really nice. As you can see, he's only around 2 pages of instructions, not bad at all, and the whole second page is just settings you can do and stuff you can connect to him, which is really, really good. So obviously, he actually looks like he has a pretty simple setup, but I guess I'll see that when I do it for myself. So without further ado, now let's get to the actual setup. gentlemen, here he is. You saw the whole sped up process of his setup. Now, even though it was sped up, it actually wasn't that long. I would say maybe like 15 minutes from bottom to top, which obviously is a lot of space because he's a tall one. Not really that hard of a setup, which again, I'll touch on that in a second. I just wanted to mention before I show you his demos, there's one more piece, and it's this piece right here. He has an extra kind of waist loop that's meant to give him a little more shape in like his chest area, but I can't for the life of me figure out how this goes onto his body. Spirit, I guess email me, tell me how this is supposed to go on. This is piece F. How does it fit on his body? I have no idea. I just can't figure it out. But other than that, I got everything else set up on him. He's all plugged in. I'm going to run the extension cord out. Now I'm going to show you his demos. Alright, so you just saw the demos of my Spirit Halloween 2021 Mr. Howle. So, let's get into the reviews and the pros and cons about him. Let's start off with the pros. So, I'm actually standing in this position to show you the first pro, and that is his size. Now, I mean, compared to me, you can really get a good sense of how big this guy really is. I am barely at the top of his jaw, and his ears are all the way up there. Taking a look at his hands, I mean, I don't even know really what to say about them. Comparing them to my hands, they're huge. The head, comparing it, my hand is barely the size of his mouth. He's got a huge head. My head can actually fit into his mouth. He's just giant, and I mean, then when he's activated, his head rolls back to give him a little more height, around to like 7.1, 7.2 feet tall, which is insane. His whole frame and everything and structure is just crazy big. He's got a lot of size to him. He's very scary when you see him in person, and I mean, looking at him, he really looks menacing, and I really love that. Going into like another pro is his detail. I love all the detailing he has on his face. His mouth is super detailed. It looks slimy and kind of a whole bunch of like detailing in the mouth that really makes it look like there's kind of saliva dripping down his teeth. They are latex. His whole like mouth is latex, but his head is not. It's kind of like a harder material. His nose is like a latex that you can move around. I love the detailing in the eyes. They're kind of red, but then they light up white when he's activated, which I really like. And I think the detailing on the hands and the feet is really good with that gray color and the veins popping out. I think that looks really good. Now let's take a look at the cons. Number one, and this is sort of something that is very difficult to get over and wrap your head around when you first open the box, but you eventually get to it, but I did want to mention it because it is pretty annoying. This guy is manufactured by Woyu Plastic Metal Factory. That is his manufacturer, and unfortunately, at least on mine, I don't know, maybe I got a factory error, which is really, really rare, but most likely, they did not label his poles. Now I know it's a very, very annoying thing. SVI, Seasonal Visions International, labels all their poles always, which makes it really easy to assemble. Now, Mr. Howle has a very simple assembly. It only takes around 15 minutes, but when you first open the box, you realize that none of his poles are labeled, so the instructions tell you to like put poles into certain snap locks, but they're not labeled. So you have to look at the instructions and match up in little tiny images which ones go where. It's really annoying the first time putting him together, but eventually you get it correctly, and I'm probably just going to label the poles myself with some tape because it's a lot more helpful if you did that, and the first time opening the box is a little bit difficult to get over. Another con is his speaker is not the loudest. You just saw his demos. It might seem really loud on camera, but honestly, it's not the loudest speaker I've ever seen. It definitely could be a little bit louder. It's not soft or not quiet, but I feel like he is a werewolf and he's supposed to be menacing and loud, and I feel like he could have a little bit more to him. Other than that, though, I think those are the only things I don't like about him. Everything else is fantastic. I love the mouth movement. Looks really organic because his whole jaw moves up and down. I think the detailing is amazing. The motion is really cool of him leaning back like a werewolf. I love the feet. They're huge. The hands are huge. The head. Overall, I think is really, really nice. The detailing on the outfit's really cool. He's got some fur sticking out that makes it look like his body is actually popping out of it, which I think is really nice. And again, he has real fur at the top of his head. It's not like, it's like a real material, which I think is really good. Just adds a little bit more detail to him. And again, I can't get over that head. It's so, so cool looking. And overall, Mr. Howle is definitely my favorite prop for the season of Spirit Halloween 2021. I love his size, I love his detail, and I think he's an awesome werewolf animatronic. Probably, in my opinion, the best we've ever seen in all time. And overall, I definitely recommend this guy if you can pick him up at your local store, because he's definitely awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going for my video, taking a look at and discussing my Spirit Halloween 2021 Mr. Howle animatronic. I guess, remember, as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. I'll see you guys later for more Spirit Halloween 2021 videos. Goodbye.